Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, by the thumbnail and title, you guessed it, we're going to talk about Bitcoin. Bitcoin selling off right now, and just the amount of text and actually Discord chats I'm getting as far as where I'm buying the dip at. So I want to go over that. But first and foremost, I buy Bitcoin and Ethereum every week. Now I buy the same amount every week, but I also take that same amount additionally and put it into a savings account. So when people ask me, hey, where are you putting the savings in? That's what they're talking about. This is how I dollar cost average into things. It's how it keeps my average low. It's how I could just keep everything low. That's how I buy it cheap. Buys it every week, whether it goes up, down, doesn't matter. I've been buying through all of this up. I just bought it right before the sell-off. So right now, I don't know if I'll buy right here, kind of at this little speed bump zone. This zone, for anybody that's been watching for a while, used to be a tad bit higher. We used to have it right here at this peak. But kind of just leaving it there just for, we hit some right there, sellers jacked around. More so than anything else, though, this zone. So we're on the daily chart right now. We had this little base rally, and then we bounced, and we could be bouncing right here. So that's why I have this zone. In all honesty, I hate to move zones off screen because then it does create that image like, what, did you just put that there? I did. This particular time, yes. It was a little bit higher. I was bouncing around looking at my phone, move this thing down. Again, these zones are just my homework, how I plan things. Right now, I would call that a speed bump zone. And just to go over all possible scenarios, because the question is where you buy the dip, or should you buy the dip? It ultimately does come down to you, and not to give you just a scapegoat answer, but just so you understand fully everything what's going on. If we bounce right here, that could be just horizontal, just sideways forever. And at that point, you didn't miss out on anything. It'll probably pop up, could come right back down, could just only give you that, and then that's it. There's only so many ways this could play out, but of those ways, there's quite a few iterations. Now, bouncing out here at this zone, my first initial thought was, I would buy some at this yellow zone, and I do think I will. But what that does give off is our first lower low, because right now, if you call that your last higher low, yes, this broke. Breaking this, we kind of break all the lows. And at that point, like, hey, are we signaling a trend change? Are we going to bounce up? Because at that point, you would start to look for the lower high and then again look for a lower low. I'm for sure buying at the 50K mark is where I would buy it. And as of right now, that could be a little ambitious. But at the same time, it's Bitcoin. Bitcoin can cover that ground pretty quickly. I know a lot of people are talking about what's going on in Israel or Iran. There's an attack right now. There are drones headed that way. Kamikaze drones, they'll just crash. Some are calling that a distraction because if you know the drones are on their way, you're probably not just going to sit there and watch them. A lot of them will get shot down. They're not the most advanced drones, so they won't really be escaping a lot. But in terms of World War III and stuff like that, I think that's just an excuse to get clicks because it would probably send Bitcoin the other way. As far as that goes, you see things like when war kicks off, you see the shiny stuff take off. When gold's been on an incredible push. So what if this had anything to do with the war? Then I guess on Sunday, today's Saturday as of recording this, Sunday the 14th, we would probably have to see the dollar gap up and go up. And at that point, maybe you could equate it to this. At this point, no. This is just a regular sell-off, and it's been on a very impressive run. Interesting coincidence that it is happening during an ongoing attack, I guess. So I'm not gonna say it's. So I know Meet Kevin made a video. It's a bit weird, but then again, maybe there's just something I'm not seeing. And Meet Kevin might just be doing it for clicks, just for views. He does that. There might be a reason that I've just overlooked. So I don't want to say it's dumb. Right now, coincidence category for me. If I were to find out there was an actual reason, maybe some new data were to support something different, maybe we could kind of gauge where they might take this thing. But for now, full blown, for sure, rain or shine event, buying here at this yellow zone. I'll make it a little bit brighter for you. I don't want to take up all your guys' time. This is just a price action thing and where I'm going to buy, and I don't really honestly care where you guys buy. This is to answer everyone's question on where I am. It would be hard not to buy in that zone. but I honestly I think I'm gonna wait. So I'm gonna wait. I have an idea, and I like to do this when we're talking about like dividend shares. Hey, if you're gonna buy 10 shares, maybe 2 here, 3 here, 5 here, kind of way of weighting it. And I was thinking about coming on here and talking about this. Like maybe I grab, let's say 2 coins here, 8 coins here, kind of thing. I think what I would take to buy one here, instead of just catching that knife right out of the gate, this thing likely is not going to, and this is the urgent part of this video, is this right here is going to create that knee-jerk reaction, that response, that emotional response that a lot of you guys just don't have the ability to control or recognize yet, and that's how a lot of people lose a lot of money, is they just make decisions way too fast. They don't realize that the market's not going anywhere. You got plenty of time. You can afford to let some data come in. To let's say this sells off right down to here. People are acting like you should buy this knife. You catch this knife right now because tomorrow's price action is doing that, and it's not. Is the possibility more than 0? Yeah. Closer to 0? Absolutely. If it bounces off this, we're likely to see some kind of action. Maybe we break down, bounce around. We might even come up, then come down, jack around, then come back down. There's a lot of things that can happen. So I think right now, when the market starts to freak out like this, if I'm already in the play, I'm just trailing and I let it shake out. But I do like to buy under the radar. I really don't like to just be in the midst of everything. Looks like so far that could have been a good dip buy, and someone's going to come out and tell me this video is not going to age well. I should have whole accounted right here. Maybe, but chances are I probably make more money than that person from all the other things that I've said. So I do think right now, if we bounce, so be it. If we bounce right here and just kind of head up, I don't think we break through and go up. So again, remember, I was thinking maybe 2 coins here, 8 coins here. Maybe I'll just buy 1 coin. What I think I'll do with that specific amount of allocation is I might wait for a breakup and add on up here. At least I'm buying a trend that is up and not necessarily catching a knife. That very well could get much cheaper. So there's buying it at 63,000 or 73,000. Okay, now to you guys, you're thinking 10 grand off, and I'm gonna say to you guys, how many of you are buying whole coins like I am? You're probably not. Is that in terms of Bitcoin? It's not the biggest percentage move. It's higher, yeah. And honestly, if I was psychic, I could tell you guys where the bottom is at. But the setup of the trade, the what I would be buying, I feel would be better for a little bit more of a confirmation, either a trend change or we bounce up here, we come back down, and we really just solidify this horizontal move. Then I'll start picking up at the bottom. And yes, it could break to the downside, but at least I'm not the only buyer at this level. And that's where I'm concerned. When I'm buying things, ultimately, I want to be with other buyers. I do catch knives all the time at levels where I think they'll be. But there are times where you can sit back and say, hey, you know what? Maybe I don't need to be first in line. Let's let Joe Blow over here take first dibs, and I'll pick up. Yeah, I'll pay a little bit premium for it, sure. But it's never how much you paid. Okay, it's never how much something costs, whether that be real estate, stocks, anything. It's not how much you paid for it. It's how much you make on it. And that's where the setup truly lies. So I think Bitcoin's going much higher than 73,000. If I thought the absolute peak was 75, 76,000, then absolutely not. I would not be buying it at 73,000. But because I think it's going much higher, and let's say you're Kathy Wood, you think it's going to 500 grand. I'm not here to talk about prices. We can throw darts, and I'll give you a price. But let's just throw some out there. 500 grand's your target, 5 years. Sure. Does it really matter if you bought it at 63 or 73? No, probably not. If it does, I don't know. The amount of risk you're taking on for that, I don't think it's worth it. As a trader, and I don't trade Bitcoin, but I probably would buy here with a stop below here, because I do think we bounce at this zone, but I think making that lower low might just crack a few levels that might bring on that fear, because you guys might think it's because there's an attack overseas or anything else, but what really creates more sell-side activity are red candles. This red candle will be responsible for more sellers than any attack responsible. If it doesn't involve radiation and sunglasses at 11 p.m., red candles are going to be your biggest worry out there, because it can create that waterfall. Or landslide. As a trader, I would buy right here, stop loss right below here, and I probably would have a take profit at this zone in case we were to just bounce right here, hit that lower high, and then come down. And that's probably what I would expect to happen. So if I were to take that, where's my play? Is this it? There we go. Long play right there. I would stop out, we'll call it 60,400. There'd be my take profit. So I'm risking 2 to make 10. That's the golden ratio. I'm sure there's a trader out there that calls that a golden ratio and only takes those and probably has an ebook on it. But that's how I would take it as a trader right now. Being in my position, I'm going to go ahead and wait. The knee-jerk reaction doesn't really mean anything to me. Bitcoin's been up there. It's been an awesome trend up. But what worries me more is not having pullbacks ever, because when they do come, they strike like lightning and they are just out of nowhere. So I do like it, kind of like the stock market. And I'll be brief with this. This was a very controlled, systematic grind up. Few green candles, red candle. Few green, red, okay? It wasn't just all green on a vertical wall, and we're just on eggshells thinking, holy crap, please don't be today unless you're short. So anyway, I'll wrap it up here. I've given my thoughts on trading it and also where I'll be buying. It's going to be down here or after we establish some kind of bottom. And maybe we hang out here for a little bit. We never touch this zone, okay? Then I guess I didn't go over that scenario. We base out here. We bounce up, lower high, still base out here. And I know we're just holding firm, and it's not the 300 Spartans because they did a good job, but you know how the movie ends. We really hold on to it. And again, I put my stops below the wicks. We start throwing off and I see a line in the sand, then I'll add on. But I just think right now, patience will pay you more than the knife will. So I'll wrap up here. Let me know your thoughts down below. Why would this be because of an attack overseas? Unless it was ripping up. I can understand the ripping up scenario, but the whole coming down part. What are your opinions on this? And do you trade it? What are you doing? Let me know. I'll see you guys in the next one.